Yahoo! What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Coffee with Brodes on this Friday. It is the last day before the weekend. Here we go. There's a lot to dissect from yesterday, the NBA draft. To be honest with you, it wasn't anything crazy other than the Russell Westbrook trade that went down, and I think he stinks. It'll be fascinating to see how he lines up with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Playing with those two is significantly different, and you're no longer the guy, but it'll be interesting. That's for damn sure. The Dodgers. I thought the Dodgers won the NBA draft last night. Are you kidding me with that superstar trade in Trey Turner and in Max Scherzer? Did the Padres just drive up the price, or was there actually a serious chance to land Max Scherzer as well? Was that all a game to take away the biggest prospects from the Dodgers system? I don't know. Maybe they use the media to manipulate the Dodgers a little bit. It's possible to manipulate the trade bait. Hey, hold on a second. We're interested. Rise up the price. I don't know. Seem to be methodical. And then, of course, with the Phillies, they piss me the hell off. I'll scream about them all day if you want me to. Oh, it's the trade deadline, though. Let's see what the Phillies do. And the Sixers, before we take our sip of coffee and dive into the chat, Jaden Springer. Excuse me. I like it. I got no problems with it. Very young, very raw, going to take some time. He's not even 19 years old yet, as I'm sure everybody saw the Daryl Morey quotes. You know, I saw some tweets out there about some of the things he does well, and I thought that Derek Bodner, though, had one of the best tweets that I saw in terms of just getting a glimpse of what he's all about. Interesting fit, says Derek Bodner. Terrific on-ball defender, which we saw all about. Some athleticism and handle. Jumper is a question. Shot just 28.2% off the dribble, 35.7% off the catch, and just 35.7% off the catch. Overall, good three-point shooter, but on a very low volume. Couldn't make a jumper inside the arc. So, not that. Look, I'm in a position now with the Sixers and Jaden Springer that Jaden Springer is not really what I'm here for with the 76ers, right? It's about Joel Embiid. It's about Ben Simmons. It's about the big trade. It's about the huge offseason. That's what it's all about right now. Whether that's fair or not, whether that's right or wrong, I'm excited for Jaden Springer if he ends up being here. And the Sixers have had great success in the late rounds the late picks in the first round, whether it's Matisse Thybulle, Landry Shamet, Tyrese Maxey. So they do find some nice talent that has helped you out tremendously or has become a nice role player in this league, like Landry Shamet has become. He just got traded yesterday. A team is really willing to go out and make a trade for him. So you could tell that there's roles for these players. Right now, though, my mind is so set on Ben Simmons that it's hard to truly invest in Jaden Springer and what this means for the team. Basically, you know where your team is right now with Joel and Tobias and Seth Curry. You know that. Now, of course, you don't know with Ben Simmons, but that's kind of what I'm waiting to fall here. I need to see what happens with Ben Simmons. Did I think it was going to happen last night? No, I did not. And it didn't. Daryl Morey's asking for a shit ton. Might take some time. Maybe the league is laughing at how much he's asking for. But it's all part of it. It's all part of playing the game. Go super, 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 super high forever. Then eventually when someone starts countering lower, maybe it's in the range that you're looking for. It's all part of the mental game. All right, everyone. Cheers. Enjoy that sip of coffee. I'm going with Wawa coffee with Wawa hazelnut creamer. Just a splash. Mix it up on this Friday. Let's get weird. The Phillies game was weird last night, so why not get weird as well? Yeah, a lot of people wanted Jared Butler. I saw that being the hot item last night. But I'll say this. With the whole Jared Butler thing, and I want this guy, I want that guy. You know, I said the same thing about Matisse Thybulle. When they drafted Matisse Thybulle, they took a guy who was an athletic defender, and you saw what he could do at Washington with the three-point line at one point in his career. It started to dip off in the wrong direction, but you thought, I like Matisse Thybulle, but We need a shooter. There were plenty of other shooters out there, and people got worked up about not getting the shooter. And Matisse Thybulle, while this team needs shooting, and they really, 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 really do, Matisse Thybulle still made a huge impact on this team. Yeah, I like Jared Butler as well, but with Jaden Springer, we will see what ends up happening. And they have a good track record late in the first round right now, so I'm just going to play the wait game. I'm not going to act as if I'm going to know if he's going to pan out or not, or I'm not going to act as if what happened at Tennessee with the catch and shoot isn't going to get better, or the shooting in general inside the arc is not going to get better. That's so far down on my list when I think about what I need from the 76ers this offseason. So, that's just reality of the situation for me. That's the way I'm digesting this news in this NBA draft. There was not really a lot there for me. I wasn't really all like, hey, let's see, what do the Sixers do? No. There's too much involved right now surrounding 2-5, where, with all due respect to Jaden Springer, I got more things to worry about right now. Why is Brad Miller so clutch? Yeah, it was a great home run. It was phenomenal. Lefty, 2 strikes. But I'm sorry. Yesterday, if anything, pissed me off more than it excited me, which is a shame, but that's where the Phillies are. It was the recognizing moment of, we're really doing this again. Honestly, we're going through this again. 3 straight years of this. 3 straight years of this baseball club giving me the most nonsense 500 baseball team I've ever seen in my life. Like, I can't stand it. I cannot stand it. Yesterday got me more frustrated than anything, which is bonkers, right? Which makes no sense. But it shows you where this team is. They make no sense. This team makes no sense, and I need serious changes, not a 5th starter that they're trying to pick up at the deadline, which is what's going to happen. What are they going to do this deadline? They're probably going to pick up something similar to what they attempted to pick up that fell through and went to Seattle. They're going to land a 5th starter, a 4th starter, and a bullpen piece and say, have at it. Is that going to ruin your franchise forever? No. But it's not going to help, and this team stinks, and it's embarrassing, and I'm sick and tired of it. Now, they play the Pirates, so they have a chance to win a couple games here. They also pitch Vince Velasquez. So do they have a chance to win a couple games here with him on the bump? It's absurd. It's absurd. Nobody. No one. The Phillies are not getting Kimbrel and Bryant. I think they should sell. That's my personal opinion. I've been saying that for weeks and months. The Phillies are the most trash 500 team of all time. Stop picking up 4th, 5th starters for your stop picking up 4 5th starters for your bullpen. Well, you wouldn't pick a 4 or 5th starter for your bullpen. This team is a joke. I agree with you. I really do. I lost it yesterday. I have a whole blog post for my website, brodesmedia.com, and you should head over there and check out all the other blogs that I wrote. A lot of them, most recently, were on the Flyers, and there's some things about UFC with McGregor that I put up there, and I have it saved in my drafts right now, and the title of it is The Phillies Piss Me Off. Now, I'm kind of waiting to see what happens at the deadline because it does impact a little bit of what I was saying in there, so maybe I'll drop it Saturday morning, or maybe I'll drop it this afternoon after the deadline. I'm not sure, but I'll tell you what, I lost my cool after watching that, and that's a shame because in such an emotional moment, it should be exciting. But here's what I heard afterwards. Brad Miller saved the season. You got to be fucking kidding me. We just said the same thing about Andrew McCutchen 3 days ago. Like, it's not it. It's not it. You don't get 9 billion opportunities to save the season. If you need that many, then you're not good. Then you're not good. You're not good. It's just what it is. The deadline is today at 4 p.m. The MLB trade deadline is today at 4 p.m. And we'll see what happens. Hold on. When is the MLB trade deadline? Friday, July 30th at 4 p.m. Just wanted to double check. Jim asked, what are my thoughts on the draft? So, in terms of what the Sixers got in Jaden Springer, I like him. I think he's going to be one of these players that we draft in the late rounds. If he's even here, right? Who knows? Maybe he's part of a package, and maybe he's given up at some point, and he's not really a 76er at all. We don't know what's going to happen with this Ben Simmons drama. But if I just look at the pick specifically and look at him, he's a young, raw player that can absolutely defend. He's athletic. He can one-on-one give you a living hell. He'll be a pest. He'll make you earn it. He'll grind. He'll be in your face. He's got that body frame that's possibly going to mature into an NBA body. When you look at him now at 18 years old, it's okay. Yeah, there's something there for sure, right? I mean, it looks like there's a body frame that can bulk up and can be an effective piece in this league. Going to need to work on the shooting. He shot well from three in college, over 40%, but he barely took any. I mean, the sample size is so ridiculously small that it's really hard to put an emphasis on how well he shot in college. So he's a project. He's a work. He's a work in progress is what he is. But do I like the idea and the philosophy behind him? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. No doubt. It's kind of hard to hate it. Oh, Nick Pavetta's in the chat. Brodes, you are too negative lately. I think it's okay to split the division teams because they always play us tough. What a joke. What a joke of a statement. Now, I know this is just to be a troll because of the name, but if anybody does believe that it's okay to split with the division after you looked at the second half schedule as the easiest schedule in all of baseball, that's foolish. That's foolish. That's the reason why you have the easiest schedule in baseball, because of the teams in your division who blow. Oh, by the way, this division blows because the Phillies are also in that division. That means they blow too. I want legitimate, serious change. I want to trade Rhys Hoskins. I want to trade Aaron Nola. I want to trade Andrew McCutchen at the trade deadline. I want to move pieces. I want to trade. I want to rebuild this prospect farm system. I want to change everything. The Matt Klentak era left you in the shitter. Now you need to clean all that up and basically start where Matt Klentak was supposed to pick up. Like, you got to start where Matt Klentak tried to start early in his tenure. Basically, Matt Klentak was such a disaster. It's time to hit the restart button. Until you admit that, this is the product of baseball that you get. I've been going back and forth with people on Twitter all night yesterday about where this team is. And it's like, you want to trade Rhys Hoskins? You want to trade your best player? You want to trade your best offensive player? Yes. Yes. Because he'll bring you back compensation. It's like people are not aware of why I want to trade Rhys, why I want to trade Nola. Look at Nola's contract. Why would you want to trade that? Because you get better compensation. The reason why I'm choosing these people is because it brings back actual return. It gives you back something that you can actually start to process with your franchise. If you trade all these bums, Odubel Herrera and all these other guys out there, you get slop in return. I'm not looking for slop. I'm looking for an actual new set of players. And I know that Rhys Hoskins is good, and he could be good elsewhere. And like on paper, Rhys Hoskins, Gene Segura, Bryce Harper, Andrew McCutchen, JT Realmuto. On paper, this team should be way better than they are, but I'm not going to wait forever. There's something wrong. They don't click. They don't mesh. There's been plenty of teams that had a lot of talent on a roster, and they never fully became a team. They never gelled together. They never became that one. There was no brotherhood, right? You can talk about that all the time throughout any team in sports or any league in sports. There were teams that go through good talent, but they don't rise to the occasion and come together as one. This is this Phillies team. It's now year 3. It's not year 1. It's not year 2. And I'm not trying to go through years 4 and 5 of this same problem. There's clearly a disconnect somewhere, and it needs to change. It needs to change. Yes, I agree that there's no untouchables on the Phillies. And I wonder, is that Scherzer deal going to impact the way that Dave Dombrowski thinks about moving pieces? Like, dude, we're not going to compete with the Dodgers at all. At all. So why? Why even go down that road? I hope so. So here's the back and forth I had with a very, I would say, respectful subscriber who loves the show. Yo, Brodes, I'm a loyal listener to your podcast on YouTube, and I love your content. Thank you, Brian. Brian Odom is his name. But you got to back off the Phillies with this sell crap. You sound like Mike Missinelli. That's funny. The Phillies should not sell. I know they are a mediocre team, but no team 3.5 games back should sell. And I said, I appreciate the support, but I'm sorry. This can't be the product for 3 straight seasons. This is a serious issue. A way to reshape this organization is to sell. I know they aren't going to, but this is all fool's gold. They don't deserve to be anywhere near the playoffs at 3.5 games back. Like, we have to stop looking at the games back. The amount of times people say, Brodes, they're only 3.5 games back. Stop looking at the games back. It's fucking with your head. It's making you feel like you're closer than you are. It's making it seem like the Phillies are in a better spot than they actually are. They're not. They're not. And I don't care about how long they haven't made the playoffs for. So they make the playoffs this year, and for what? Let's say they make the playoffs this year at 83 wins. Just say 83 wins. Something happens to the Mets, 83 wins get you the division. Then what? You feel good about building with this team for next year? There was a chance where maybe I thought there was something to that. I had Scott Lauber on The Fanatic, and he said, there's something to taking that next step and that stride as a team, as a core. And I was like, yeah, there's something to that. Is there? You don't have to sell to be great again. The Mets in 2019, while being 6 games back, bought at the deadline instead of reselling, and now they're a first-place team. Yeah, but they're also not a real first-place team either. Every other division in baseball, they're still second or even third in some divisions. So, and even that, if they're playing the Phillies, they're playing the Braves, they're playing the Nationals, they're playing the Marlins. They wouldn't even have this win total in any other division because the talent in the other divisions would probably beat the Mets still. So they're also flawed and not nearly as good as a first-place team, but it feels like they're better than what they are because of the division that they play in. Imagine if look at the Dodgers. Look how many wins they have. Look at the Giants. Look how many wins they have. Look at the Padres. Look how many wins they have. Imagine if they, instead of playing one another, were playing the Braves, Nationals, Phillies, and Marlins. They'd have 75 wins instead of 60 plus. That's huge. So the Mets are not as good as their records say they are, but they play against teams like the Phillies, the Marlins, the Nationals, and things of those nature. Yeah, they're barely a first-place team. Yeah, I agree. It's all flawed. Everything that people feel about this team right now, this franchise, the Mets, it's all flawed. It's all flawed. Where else? I haven't seen winning baseball since 2011. Yeah, it's a shame. Yeah, we're going to keep trying to trot out the same nonsense. They are the most disappointing 500 team. You know how hard it is to be this emotional 500-wise? I've never seen it in my life. I've seen 500 teams play. We've seen the Sixers get stuck in that 8th seed. We've seen, that form of Flyers hockey that's 500. I've never seen the ups and downs of this team before in my life to stick around 500. It's just one of the most mind-blowing things ever. See, all I want is one playoff game, bro. See, to me, and once again, this is from a troll account called Nick Pavetta, but yeah, I could live with that. I'd rather see this franchise get back on the right track, start making decisions that change this franchise, and then I'd be willing to be okay. Like, if you ask me, one playoff game or Dave Dombrowski selling and really retooling and really redoing this entire franchise, there's no doubt about it. I'm picking Dave Dombrowski making legitimate moves to change everything. So the Phils have the Pirates, the Nationals for 4. Then they have the Mets for 4. Then they have the Dodgers, the Reds, the Diamondbacks, the Padres. Man, you know what? For the easiest schedule left, there's some tough-ass opponents on this schedule. Tough-ass opponents. For real, though. Like, yeah, they play the Pirates. They go to Washington, D.C. for 4 games. I mean, they just split with them, and they realistically should have lost 3 of 4 in Citizens Bank Park. After that, they play the Mets, who, I mean, is that easy? No, that's not easy. Then they play the Dodgers. They play the Reds. Those are both not easy opponents. The Diamondbacks stink, but then the Padres, you're going to the Padres out in the West Coast swing. The Rays for 2 games. Now you play the Diamondbacks again, and the Nationals, who you can't write off. The Marlins, you might be able to write off, considering the Phillies actually beat them this year way more than they did in previous years. The Brewers, who are in first place. The Rockies, the Cubs. And then it starts breaking off again with Orioles and Pirates. But then you got the Braves and then the Marlins. So it does break off, I would say, towards the end, which maybe that's what they need. When it's the end and they need a couple games to do something late and you want to hold your hat on the season and think maybe there's a way, they play the Orioles, the Pirates, the Braves, and the Marlins to end the season. So there's that. But there's a mix here where they got to stay involved. If they don't stay involved, then and they have a lot of opponents here that I think could force them to die off. But they probably won't. They'll probably play 500 baseball. Would you want to face Scherzer, Kershaw, Buehler, and Bauer? True, there's a whole lot of drama going on with Trevor Bauer, so who knows if he's ever going to be back into the mix of things. In a best-of-7 series, yeah, I don't know how you compete with that starting rotation. That is absolutely absurd. Now, I don't know if Bauer is coming back, so I'm just going to rule him out. But you're right, Nolan. If you just think about Scherzer, Kershaw, and Buehler and how absolutely disgusting that is, Buehler is a number 1. Kershaw's a number 1. Scherzer's a number 1. We talk about aces. What's an ace? What's a number 1? Those are 3 aces. Those are 3 aces. That's crazy. That's crazy. Although, yeah, they're all aces. I don't like throwing ace around. I don't. It's overused. Every team has an ace. No, you don't. Not every team has an ace. Those are all aces, though. Damn. Back in 2019, Walker Buehler was 14-4. Unbelievable. ERA, though, was 3.26. Yeah, I was going to say, like, the reason why I looked this up is if I was going to say one of them was probably a number 1 and not so much an ace, maybe it's Walker Buehler. I have a high standard, though. That doesn't mean Walker Buehler's not good. It's just I have a really high standard. I look at Zach Wheeler, and Zach Wheeler's numbers, well, maybe not this year because he's posting a 2.19 ERA, Walker Buehler is. But, I don't look at Zach Wheeler as an ace. I look at him as a number 1 on a championship type. I'd say Walker Buehler's a 1. But I will go with the others of Scherzer. That's an ace-type guy. Kershaw, Clayton Kershaw would be an ace in my eyes as well. But Spencer Howard's an ace. Yeah, right. My God. My Lord, is Spencer Howard the most annoying thing to witness ever. Yeah, let's see those first innings. I looked up his first innings the other day. Hold on. I love, by the way, how the NBA drafts last night and the Sixers don't trade Ben Simmons, but the Phillies' frustration is what is forcing the conversation and driving the conversation today. It's just reality of the situation. Though. They're so toxic. They're so toxic. And with the NBA draft last night, you're waiting for a splash to happen, and it just never happened. All right, let's go to his first inning. It's insane. Like, it's literally insane. I couldn't believe it. Christopher Sanchez is the best ace in baseball. My God, that was terrible last night. Okay, what am I looking for again? First inning stuff. Runners in scoring position. Okay, first inning. His first 3 innings. Hold on, they break it down even more for you. Where does it? What? I saw it yesterday when I was looking it up. All right, regardless. First inning. He's got 7 innings pitched, 0 earned runs. 7 innings pitched, 0 earned runs, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts in the first inning alone. 7 innings pitched, 9 strikeouts, 0 hits, 0 earned runs, 1 walk. Okay? Oh, man. Phillies teetering on 500. This is what purgatory feels like. Yes, that is very true. Spencer Howard, second inning, 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, 6 strikeouts. Third inning, 5 2/3 innings pitched, 6.35 ERA, 5 hits, 5 walks. So clearly you can see the trend of his walks going up every inning, his ERA going up every inning, his hits getting up every inning. But how do you start so perfect? First inning, 7 innings, 0 earned runs, 1 walk. Second inning, 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, no earned runs. You're still doing all right. 2 walks, okay, not ideal. Throwing in another walk in there. Fourth inning, his ERA jumps to 20. Fifth inning, his ERA jumps to 36. What the hell are we talking about here? Isn't that insane? He gets blisters. Don't give me that garbage. That's all a lie. I feel they planned that out. Hey, Spencer, if things go wrong, we're going to come up to the mound and we're going to say you have a blister, you have a callus, just so we can move along here and there's an excuse for why you stink. There's an excuse for why your velocity dips 6 miles per hour once you hit that third, fourth inning. Because you're such a disaster, we need to come up with some sort of lie to make it seem like you're not as bad as what you are, because we inform this fan base that you could be a top end of the rotation guy and you're not even close and you're probably a bullpen piece, but we want to keep forcing you out here because, one, we need help and we don't have anybody else, and 2, we got to pretend like there's something in your bag. That's what it's happening. That's what's happening. One question. The Lakers made a trade last night, but not the 76ers. So that's not a question, to be fair. And, yeah, I mean, they don't have the right package. I mean, if you don't have the right package for Ben Simmons, they're not just going to do anything. Now, is Bradley Beal an option? Like, that was the idea behind the Russell Westbrook trade, right? Hey, if Russell Westbrook's out of there, maybe there's an opportunity where Bradley Beal gets traded next and they kind of blow things up in Washington, D.C., but that did not look like it was the case. So, I mean, there's 2 different circumstances here. When you're the Lakers, you're not dealing with trading a Ben Simmons type. You traded Kuzma, Harrell, KCP. That's way easier to trade. You really can't compare the 2. It's not as if they traded Anthony Davis. If they moved on from a big superstar type of talent that was, well, AD isn't at the same level of Ben Simmons in terms of youth. I was going to say, if the Lakers had a young superstar like Ben Simmons in the making and they traded him, well, then, yeah, I think we could have this dialogue. But there's 2 totally different level of tiers of a trade, and where Daryl Morey and the Sixers are not even close to a Kuzma KCP type of package. There's a huge difference in there, no doubt about it. Westbrook might win a ring. Yeah, you're right, he might. But it's one of those, you won the ring because you joined LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Russell Westbrook, to me, stinks. I'm almost stunned that LeBron James wanted Russell Westbrook. But I guess compared to what you had in those other pieces, the Kuzmas and KCPs, you know, it's like obviously there's something to be said about having a star. And I'll put air quotes around that because to me, Russell Westbrook is a nobody and he's nothing but just a stat sheet guy. And I laugh when he plays the sport of basketball because he doesn't do it efficiently or effectively. So it's very interesting to see how it's going to play out and how the fit is going to happen in LA. I would never want Russell Westbrook on my team, but maybe if LeBron goes, this is what you're doing, this is the role you're playing, this is how this is going to go down. And there's a whole philosophy change with Russell Westbrook as he enters a super team that maybe things are different. But I think Russell Westbrook absolutely stinks. Who do I want to get at the trade deadline? This is from NTH. You want me to go through all the prospects that I want from every other team? I don't want anyone from the deadline unless it's bringing in a bunch of prospects because Dave Dombrowski's selling. That's the only thing I want. Broad Street Sports says Bradley Beal's loyalty will prevent him from ever being a winner. It's crazy that he doesn't want out of Washington. Well, you know what's fascinating about that statement? We just praised Giannis, right, for sticking it through in one city and losing, then winning. We're all ripping Russell Westbrook for going to the Lakers and trying to get his championship. Now, I don't believe that Bradley Beal can turn around DC And it's not the same exact comparison to Giannis and the Bucks, because Giannis and the Bucks have constantly been in competition. The Bucks have constantly been involved in playoff runs, and they've been very active in the postseason. So them sticking it through and trying to win and win and win when they were falling on their face over and over again, there is a timeline that makes sense and adds up if you stay in that one spot to compete for the title. So with the Washington Wizards, they're not even close to doing anything. They barely sniffed the playoffs. They get in because of a wonky tournament that was made up to sneak into the postseason. So all that, it's not the same. But it is funny how we view and praise a player like Giannis for staying in one spot and fighting and going through all that pain. And then now it's, well, Bradley Beal's being a loser, man. How come he's not getting out to go win that championship? And I'm not saying you're saying it with that tone. I'm just looking at it more, just that's where it took me when I saw that statement. It's just kind of funny how it bounces around of, oh, he's a loser. He joined the team to go win a title. But now with Bradley Beal, I can't believe he's staying there. Doesn't he want to win a championship? Which one is it for NBA fans in general? Not you specifically, just NBA fans in general. Beal would rather play with Kuzma than Embiid. Can't blame him, Mel. I thought you were going to say Ben Simmons. But, of course, that wouldn't happen with the trade that would bring him here. So, but no, I mean, that doesn't mean he'd rather play with Embiid. I'm sure if you asked Bradley Beal, would you rather play with Kyle Kuzma or Joel Embiid, the answer would be pretty damn simple. I don't think it has anything to do with wanting to play with Kuzma over any other superstar or any superstar around the National Basketball Association. Brodes, are you one of those people that hate super teams? Some of my buddies are, and wanted your thoughts. I mean, I don't love that this is where the NBA is. The people that claim that LeBron James made this is just ridiculous, because that's not true. I mean, every team throughout it, the Boston Celtics in 08, did you see that team? Did anybody see that basketball team? Let me know how many stars were on that team. Think about all the teams that happened previously. Like, the NBA has always been this. There's one squad that is insanely stacked, that has a lot of talent on their roster, and then they go on a run and they have a couple years of success of getting to the NBA championship. I mean, it's just the nature of the NBA as a league. There's a team that has a bunch of solid players on it, and there's a few teams that are a little bit more stacked than everybody else, and there's some superstar talent on that team, and then they run through squads, and then they have a 3-4 year window of NBA championship aspirations, and then you move on after that. It's all the same, right? The Bulls, and yeah, Dylan says in here, there's the Bulls and there's the Lakers, right? I mean, it's just, that's how the history of the NBA goes. Do I like how it is now? Well, now it's intensified, right? Because social media, technology, hitting up your boys. Yo, dude, what do you think? Why don't we do this? Where before, in the 80s, in the 90s, you're not hitting up your boy on FaceTime saying like, yo, what do you think? And with your agent, this and that. Like, yeah, it's obviously picked up because of where we are in this technology world and social media and the way people talk about it on Twitter and things of that nature. I don't love it. I don't love it. But this is where the NBA is. I don't love it. This is where the NBA is. The 90s Bulls would be called a super team if they played today. Yeah, Jordan, Pippen, Rodman. Yeah, for sure. Would that not be it? I mean, let's be realistic. When Miami Heat had Chris Bosh, right? I mean, yes, in Toronto, he was a Chris Bosh where, wow. But when he went to Miami, he kind of had to play a different role. And while Dennis Rodman's role in previous spots was never where Chris Bosh was skill set wise when he was with Toronto, there was a huge part of his skill set that was game changing, team changing, intensity changing, and identity changing that was very important, that could be labeled as a part of like a dynasty super team, if you will. And that's just three of the guys. LeBron didn't make super teams. He made it popular to have a big three. Now it's like every team wants a big three no matter what the cost is. But there's always been teams that wanted three guys if they could get it. Right? I mean, that, like, you're telling me teams before LeBron would never want to have three big players, three big stars? I mean, I just talked about the team that happened in Boston. You don't think Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and Rondo with Ray Allen isn't a lot of talent on a team? That was before LeBron James. How many stars is that? That's 4. You think they were like, nah, you know what? I don't want to have four. Four, no way. I don't want to have four. I would like to only have two. No, of course not. Where are we here? Your opinion on Biles? I really don't want to go down that road, to be honest with you. I mean, it's a mental health issue. There's people that go overboard with this. I mean, it's pretty clear. It's pretty simple. It should be pretty understanding on what's going on here. Um, there's a lot in play with this story that I don't think people do enough research on it. And yeah, I mean, my opinion is she can make her own opinion, and it doesn't upset me. I don't have passion for the decision. Like, to me, it's very clear. I don't get upset about it. It doesn't light a fire under my ass. Like, I don't get all worked up about it. She made a decision. That's her decision. She goes on with her decision. That's all. I'm not going to act as if I'm the diehard gymnastics fan that's heartbroken because Team USA lost one of the best to do it in this team opportunity. Like, I don't feel that way. She made a decision. She's allowed to make that decision. She feels a certain way. I don't know how she's feeling internally. Clearly, it's enough to make such a crucial decision in her athletic career. And that's that. And that's that. I don't lose sleep at night over it. It doesn't upset me. Like, these people who are upset, they don't watch gymnastics. They don't even care about the sport. They don't watch her. They just feel that there's an agenda to maybe push some things. And that's what they like to do. They like to stir the pot. So I don't have I mean, I guess I'd say I don't have a passionate opinion on it as I kind of get fired up a little bit about it. But to me, it's not because of the actual substance of what they're debating. It's the surrounding pieces of why they're even debating it that I feel gets me more upset than anything else. If I'm in Boston, would I trade Jaylen Brown and a couple young guys for Bradley Beal? If I could get Bradley Beal and team him up with the Jason Tatum, and I like Jaylen Brown. I do. I like Jaylen Brown a lot. I think he's going to be a really nice player as he continues to grow here. He averaged 25 points per game last year or so. And Bradley Beal, um, he's a killer, right? He's a different type of dog. He averaged 31 last season, which is obviously a big upgrade. In age, though, you have, how old is Jaylen Brown? He's probably around 23, maybe. Is he 23 years old? He's 24 years old. I like Jaylen Brown a lot. I do. Here's why I wonder, because is there a way that you look at this if you're Boston? You know they're always in go mode. They're a franchise that, they're going to try and move the pieces around to compete every year at the highest level. So patience isn't necessarily in their bag, if you will. But I wonder, is there something to be said about the Tatum-Brown combination that they grow together? Like, that's it. That's your Boston Celtics core that you're willing to kind of experience a timeline with, where you're willing to say, okay, these are our two. These are our guys. These are it. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. We're going to ride with these guys. We're going to put teams around them. We're going to support them with the best cast we possibly can, but it's on them, and we're going to watch them blossom. We're going to watch them grow, because 25 points per game, I mean, that's no joke from a 24-year-old who can absolutely still continue to grow. Is there something to be said about these two, or do you just get so frustrated because you're no longer at the top of the Eastern Conference? You're involved. You're hanging around with some of these teams, in the top 4 or so, top 5 or so. I know they had a season last year to forget and whatnot, but they hang around with the Sixers, with the Bucks, with the Heat, with the Pacers. I mean, they're in the mix with these two young guys. Do you try and make that push with the Bradley Beal while giving up some young players, or do you groom these two together and wait for them to be 28, 29 as the prime of an NBA, like, legitimate playoff, I'm a grown man now type of 29, and you kind of wait for those two to do that? It's hard. I'm not saying it's easy. It's a difficult decision. Very difficult decision. What do I think about the pick last night? This is from Brendan Mooney. I like it. It's obviously hard to really go deep into it, considering where this franchise is with Ben Simmons and waiting for that drama to kind of happen, and knowing where they were last year and knowing what type of role that, if he's even on the team, that Jaden Springer is going to play. 3 and D, hopefully he grows into that. He's very young. He's 18 years old. There's work that needs to be done on the jumper. Athletic, can defend. I mean, there's nothing to hate. There's nothing to hate. He's a young prospect that's going to take some time to mature while your team is trying to figure out one of the most bizarre situations in all of the sport. You have a $30 million point guard who doesn't shoot a basketball, and you're trying to get a package that is so insane, and that's part of Daryl Morey's job, and that's what he's trying to accomplish. But just in terms of the pick, yeah, I mean, it's hard to hate the pick. It's hard to look at it and go, I don't like this about him. Well, he's 18 years old, and he has the skill set to blossom, it seems. So if you're looking at a 3-and-D guy and looking at their track record of late picks in the first round, there's been a lot of success there. So it's kind of hard to hate it. Got the thumbs up from Brendan. All right, looks like we're on the same page. Thank you so much, Brendan. That's a good question. Thanks for chiming in. I think they picked Springer to replace Thibault in case we trade him. They are similar players. Well, the difference is, like, I don't think Springer is not ready to play 27 minutes, 26, 25 minutes in the NBA in a regular season game right now. Like, I just don't think that's where he's at. He's very raw. While Matisse Thybulle is a couple years in, learned a lot, still needs to work on that offensive game. And I mean by a large margin. You really do need to start becoming a spacer with the ability to defend like that. If he can shoot more efficiently from the three-point line, it would be hard to take him off the court. Like, you can't just replace Matisse Thybulle with Springer. That's a drop-off. I mean, that's a big drop-off. This kid's 18 years old. And then, look, Tyrese Maxey stepped in and played a nice role for sure, but there's a big difference in where these two guys are at in their game, I would say. Yeah, I mean, personally, if that's your mentality of, hey, if you trade Matisse Thybulle, you can just throw Springer in the mix, I think that's a huge drop-off. And that's not saying Springer is horrendous. What really that says is how lethal Matisse Thybulle is defending. I mean, Matisse Thybulle gets steals, gets blocks. He's very active. He's mind-blowing out there, and he's always in the mix. His hands are everywhere. I mean, he's ridiculous to play against. That's really not saying that I don't believe in the young kid. It's really, it's tough. It's tough to be 18 and thrown in there, but I would say more it's about how special Matisse is with a lot of those deflections and perimeter blocks and all of that. Oh, God. Why is everyone freaking out about Gabe Kapler? He's in the chat. Miss you, Brodes. First place feels good. You're not going to be in first place once you get that Max Scherzer, Trey Turner combo in the Los Angeles Dodgers uniform. Let's look at those division standings right now, because I know they're sniffing your ass. Dodgers are 3 games back right now. 64-38, the San Francisco Giants are. Damn. That's actually insane. Absolutely insane. Well, yeah, see, this is what one guy's a point guard, though. Like, if you're talking about Springer's numbers, I mean, first off, his three-point shooting is very skewed because of the amount of attempts he actually had. That makes it a lot different. But you're talking about a natural point guard in Tyrese Maxey running the floor, and then someone you're trying to blossom into a 3-and-D guy who had some really interesting, I guess I'd say, numbers, and I'll spit them out again. This is courtesy of Derek Bonner, who covers the Sixers for The Athletic. He shot 28% off the dribble, which Tyrese Maxey shoots off the dribble. Like, he literally comes around a screen when we can actually use a pick, which is crazy because Ben Simmons can't. When you can actually use that and you come around a screen and he can shoot off the dribble and make a jumper, that can happen. And with Springer, he shoots 28% off the dribble, 35% off the catch. Overall, good three-point, but on a very low volume. Couldn't make a jumper inside the arc. It's not even close to the same player that you're thinking about in Tyrese Maxey, no matter what the stat sheet or the box score says about numbers after the game. It's not even close. Usman and Colby rematch in November. Yeah, this is insane. I believe it's in Madison Square Garden. There's a bit of me that wonders, do I go? Do I shack up and go to my first event? I don't know why I would say shack up. Why would it be shacking up? But do I go to my first UFC event and it be Usman versus Colby? That would be ridiculous. I don't know how I would be able to handle it emotionally, but if it's at Madison Square Garden, I don't know how much tickets go for when it comes to UFC matches, but damn, that would be insane. I can't wait for that fight. I hate Colby with a fucking passion. I can't stand him. He bothers me. He annoys me. I can't stand him. But he can fight. And he had Usman last time. I mean, last time it was a battle. I'm not going to act as if Usman had it all in the bag. That was a close fight. It was a nasty fight. It was an odd fight. It was a bizarre fight. Cheap fight. But Colby can throw him. And I'm excited to see it. But I'm all in on Usman. No, Covington's he's a loser, man. He's a loser. I can't stand him. He's good for the sport, right? Like, won't shut up, cocky douchebag, asshole, jerk off. That's what you need in this sport. He's kind of playing that McGregor card that you saw in more of McGregor's prime. Now he's forcing it because he doesn't have any skill left. So he's trying to make up that energy and trying to get all psychological with the opponent more than he needs to, but he really needs to focus on his actual fighting. Now McGregor's going just way too overboard, and it's pretty damn obvious that it's gotten to an insane level. But yeah, I'm all in on Usman, man. Yep, Colby's acting big time, completely intentional shtick. Yeah, but that's all part of this, right? I mean, majority of these guys have that shtick involved, and I'm okay with the shtick. But I also love the professionalism, too. There's nothing cooler to me than, and look, I'll be honest with you. If I was a UFC fighter, I'd probably be a huge dick. I'd probably be a huge asshole. I would. I'd be that son of a bitch. And that's just me being honest with you. I would not be able to handle myself like Dustin Poirier, but I love how Dustin Poirier handles himself. Just a class act guy. Can't wait to get back to my kids. Love my family. Love my daughter. Love my kids. You know what I mean? It's like, I love that. I respect the hell out of that. I won't be able to do it. I would not be able to do it. Anthony Rizzo to the Wild? Yeah, to the Wild. To the Yankees? Yeah, he's going to play in the NHL for the Minnesota Wild. Anthony Rizzo to the Yankees and Joey Gallo. They're trying to make a push. And speaking of division standings, right now, they're in third place at 53-48. They're 8.5 games back, and the Rays are 61-42. I don't want to hear what the Yankees are buying. How come the Phillies aren't buying with only 3.5 games back? It's not the same. The Yankees and the Phillies are just not the same. While the Yankees have not been able to get over the hump since 2009 and win a championship since 2009, they're in a different ballpark. And I'm not talking about physically in Yankee Stadium. It's just about the way that they compete every year. It's the Yankees. This is what they do. This is what they can do. This is who they are. This is their identity. The Phillies, this isn't I mean, sadly, yes, this is who the Phillies are, but these are the moves that the Yankees go out and make. This is what Cashman does. This team makes the playoffs. They have a track record of that. The Phillies, not so much. So I don't see how it's even close to the same thing. What are the hours for 97.5? I have some exciting news about the Fanatic, by the way. I'm pretty excited for it, but I'll tell you my weekend schedule here for the Fanatic. I am on Saturday 3 to 7 now. I used to do the 7 to 10 shifts, but Rob Motti left. Rob Motti took a job to be with the AP NFL writer. Awesome. Can't wait to see what he does in the future covering the NFL, although he's already done a fantastic job all throughout the AP, covering the Phillies and all. But taking that next stride, he moved to Florida. That 3 to 7 slot, I moved from 7 to 10 p.m. on Saturdays to 3 to 7 on Saturday. So 3 to 7 on Saturday, 4 to 8 on Sunday. That's my schedule for the Fanatic. I did get some good news, though, in August. I will fill in some weekday shifts while there's some vacation going on. So Devon Gibbons, who hosts After Mikey Miss, he's taking off August 6th and August 9th. There's some vacation slots, and I will be filling in for him after Mikey Miss. That's the first week of August, right? August 6th, which is a Friday, August 9th, which is a Monday. So really, I'll be on four straight days. I'll be on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday on the Fanatic. So I'm really looking forward to that. And yeah, you know how I used to do the desk calendar? Fellas, we have moved on. We now have like an actual Look at this. Leather. How sophisticated is this? Let's say I walk into a Starbucks or a Panera, and I got my book bag on and my I don't have a briefcase. I go book bag, so I'm not going to look that fancy. But here's a guy coming in who's going to sit down, have a cup of coffee, relax, eat a salad, bring out the iPad, put in my AirPods, go to work a little bit, maybe type a blog, and I carry in a nice leather little notebook. Come on, tell me that doesn't look legit. It's even got the little tabs like, oh, what am I doing in August? Let me skip right to it. Bang. Oh, what's that? I got to figure out what's happening in December. Oh, what's December 25th? Let me check. Christmas Day. That's right. Just in case I forgot. Says it right there. But that. We've upgraded from the desk calendar. A little less space, if you will. But we made it work. Upgrade to a book. You mean like I upgraded to the book? I feel a lot more sophisticated. You know what I'm saying? I don't know who's going after Howard, to be honest with you. I really don't. $2 coming in from Andre. I'm late, Brodes. Morey doesn't want to trade Ben. That's not true. He wants to trade Ben. What makes you feel? Thank you so much for the $2, by the way. But what makes you feel that Daryl Morey does not want to trade Ben Simmons? Because everything I've seen to this point has been the exact opposite. Everything has been legitimately on the other side of that. He does want to trade Ben Simmons. Did you see what he put together for the Spurs? Did you see what he put together for these other teams? Like, he's playing a game. Everyone's like, I can't believe Daryl Morey's asking for that. He's playing a game. It's a mental game. You see these type of trade offers get thrown around, and then when there's a step back, it's still a high price, but compared to what was being asked, it's in the other direction. So it's all a mental game. Yeah, the offers are ridiculous for a reason, though. It's all part of why Daryl Morey moves big pieces. It's all part of it. It's a mental game. It really is. It's all psychological. If I say it's going to take 5 first-rounders, and then at the end it's, all right. 3 and a player. And then at the end, your goal was 3 and a player the whole time. Your goal was 3 first-round picks and a player of significance. If that was your goal the whole time, but you go in there asking for 5 first-round picks for 3 weeks, and then at the end you go, you know what? All right, look, let's settle here. It's time to make a move. I'll do 3 first-round picks and this player. The team you were talking to for 2 weeks about 5 then goes, well, it is less than what they were saying, and it's just one big psychological game. He's playing the game. Daryl Morey is not sitting there anticipating getting 5 first-rounders, every player on the Cavs. This is why Daryl Morey is regarded as one of the best president of basketball operations / general manager in the sport of basketball. It's all part of the game. How many draft picks do I expect for Ben? Well, it depends on which route they go. If they go for a Bradley Beal, we're not talking about first-round draft picks. If they go for De'Aaron Fox, we're not talking about first-round draft picks. So I really don't know. Now, I was a little surprised about the Golden State Warriors one with Wiggins and Wiseman and the first-round picks. You know, if you're thinking about, unless he was going to flip those first-round picks for another star, which is very possible, right? I mean, it is definitely possible for Daryl Morey to then take all of that compensation he got from Golden State and flip it to go grab another player, which possibly would have happened, because I don't see a way that Wiggins, Wiseman, and just a bunch of picks is really going to help Joel Embiid right now for the foreseeable future to go on that push. But I was a little surprised by that one. I'm not going to lie. I was a little surprised. Dame's going to be on the trade market soon. And now that the Lakers got that loser Russell Westbrook, we don't need to worry about them anymore. There's New Orleans and New York, who both have almost nothing. I mean, it all comes down to what the Portland Trail Blazers are looking for. Maybe they don't want Ben Simmons. I don't know. I mean, you got to make it work financially, of course. So Ben Simmons and the big cap hit is a huge part of that, but maybe they don't want Ben Simmons. Who knows? But you're right. I do agree that it seems like if Ben Simmons is valued the way that the NBA claims that there's still value for Ben Simmons, and I do believe that there is still value for Ben Simmons because of the possible untapped potential. And that untapped potential could put him in the top 5 category if he ever turns it around, top 5 in this league. Although I don't sense that there's ever going to be a time that he gets in that range. I'm just saying that's what the untapped potential can possibly bring. Therefore, teams might be willing to take that chance on him. And it's going to be a hard sell to your fan base, though. And if you swing and a miss, maybe that's your job. Maybe you lose your job as a general manager. But you're right. If you think about what those teams have, although the Pelicans might be able to do something, but they're not going to throw Zion in the mix. So you take that off the table, and then maybe they don't. Maybe they don't. Maybe they don't. But, yeah, who knows? You'd think that the Sixers would have the most. You would. Simmons and CJ would work well together. I don't think Ben Simmons works. I don't care about surrounding him with spacing. You need someone, you need to create your own shot. That's what you need to do. Create your own shot. I love Mike Gill with a passion. Obviously, I worked with him at 97.3. He tweeted something out the other day, and it was like, I don't think moving Ben Simmons will make you better. It'll just make you different. And I've been saying that for a while. It's like, it depends on what you value, right? If Gill's valuing regular season, you're probably right. You're probably winning the same amount of regular season games. But I want to see fourth quarter create your own bucket guy. And I don't know if you're necessarily going to get that if you don't land a Bradley Beal, if you don't land a Damian Lillard. I don't know if you get that perimeter player that's create your own shot for 6 straight possessions in the half-court set with 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Like, I don't know if you're going to find that if it's not those other 2 guys that I just mentioned. But I know Ben Simmons can't do that. And that's what matters. That's what needs to change. Not game 42 of the regular season. You're going to win those games with Ben Simmons. I don't care about those games. I don't care about that game. I care about round 2 and on. I care about fourth quarter. I watch Middleton. I watch Booker. I watch all these players. Kevin Durant. I watch all these players late in fourth quarters create separation, knock down mid-range jumpers, create separation, hit some unbelievable step backs with defenders in their face. That's what you need. Ben can't do that. So if you're valuing, it won't look different, or you won't be better. It'll just look different. Well, if you're talking about game 42, you might be right. But are we talking about game 42 that needs to change, or are we talking about the NBA playoffs that need to change? Because there's a huge difference there. When you say you don't expect the Sixers to get better, you mean regular season, right? Clearly, they need to be better postseason. Yeah, I mean, that's the way I approach this. If you look at this, goes, I don't know if trading Ben Simmons really makes you much better. Yeah, in the regular season, you're right. You're probably still winning those 50-something games. You probably are. You do that naturally with Joel Embiid. It's going to happen. So, that's not what we're looking to trade, though. That's not what we're looking to trade. Brodes, if we don't get to trade Ben until the beginning of the season, won't happen. And in the game, he's making jump shot. Won't happen. None of that's going to happen. So I'm not even going to give it the time of day. He will not be here. You already saw Clutch Sports and Ben Simmons. I mean, they've been vocal about this. They're working with the Sixers to get him moved. There is no if he comes back. There is no if he starts making jumpers. There is no if he starts hitting threes. It's just a fantasy land. That's not going to happen. It's not legitimate. So I will not give it the time of day because there's no way, in my opinion, that that's going to happen. So with that all being said, I want to thank everybody so much for hanging out with me today. It's the end of the week. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. Enjoy the weekend. And I'm looking forward to catching up with everybody on Coffee with Brodes Monday. But of course, as you know, there's going to be a lot of dialogue that happens from now until then with the podcast on 97.5 The Fanatic. So make sure you're staying tuned to my Twitter at Brodes81 to get all the news and updates on what's happening over the weekend. Thank you guys so much. You're the best.